Hello, my name is Lakeisha Haynes. I am an 8th grade ELA instructor at Washita Junior High School in Washita Parish. An educational issue that is particularly important to me is empowering students in economically disadvantaged areas with the tools, resources, and knowledge they need to reach their full potential. Washita Parish has adopted the Louisiana Guidebooks curriculum for ELA classrooms. Currently, we're working on the 8th grade unit titled Call of the Wow. This unit is typically my students' favorite as it explores the character struggles with internal and external conflicts, shedding light on the complexities of self discovery and acceptance. The students just completed Lesson 4, which involved reading Chapter 1 of the Call of the Wow and characterizing the main character Buck. As they began to characterize Buck, they realized that his traits are more akin to those of a human than those of an animal. This is a key aspect of the Guidebook curriculum, where each lesson prepares students for the next in their learning. Lesson 5 focuses on summarizing an excerpt from The Other Animals by Jack London, which is a letter he wrote in defense of himself against being accused of being a nature faker. In this lesson, students will strengthen their skills in identifying the main idea and analyzing arguments in nonfiction texts. To prepare for this lesson, they were assigned independent reading of the text, focusing on vocabulary that might hinder their understanding. Additionally, they completed a creative writing prompt to write an argument, which could be based on real or a fictional scenario. The requirement was to clearly present both sides of the argument. Afterwards, students will edit their prompts using the other animals as a mentor text while analyzing how authors address both sides of an argument. They will then publish their arguments in their creative writing portfolio. The goal is to help students develop a comprehensive understanding of writing structure, improve their comprehension of complex text, and apply their knowledge creatively. The class pictured is my 8th grade advanced students. They are a bright group that struggle with time management and confidence. To support them, I set tight time constraints while also allowing additional time as needed. This approach encourages them to commit to the answers and move forward. I hope you enjoy watching this lesson as much as I enjoyed teaching.
In nature to understand how authors portray animals to make a comment about human nature. We will also explore scientific or personal accounts of animal cognition to express our understanding of Jack London's portrayal of Buck in his interaction with humans in the Call of the Wild.
Go back. Looking at our unit objective, how are we addressing our unit objective today?
Information.
Informational text. We are stepping away from our unit text Call of the Wow. So whatever text we read today is going to be in informational text. We have two standards that we are addressing today. We have RI 8.1, cite the textual evidence that most strongly supports an analysis of what the text explicitly as well as inferences drawn from the text. And then RI 8.2, determine the central idea of a text and analyzes development over the course of the text, including its relationship to supporting ideas, providing an objective summary of the text. So looking at 8.1, what are you going to have to do today according to this standard? We're going to have to find some textual evidence. We're going to find some textual evidence. And then looking at 8.2, how are we addressing 8.2 today? Why do we need a central idea specifically to our lesson objective? Go back one slide. What was our lesson objective? Go back. Summarize the other animals. Go back to our 8.2. We need to determine the central idea so that we can what? Summarize the text, right? And so we're looking to find text evidence, and then we also need to come up with a central idea of this text so that we're able to summarize this text. Looking at informational text and looking at literary text is different when you summarize. You have to be very, very careful. Why do you think you need to be more careful in an informational text when summarizing than with a literary text?
Because there could be.
Hold on, wait. What'd you say, Tony? You need to get what they're saying correct. In order for it to be informational text, it needs to be exactly what the author is trying to say. We cannot switch the meaning. It's not up for interpretation because fact.
Because it says the more outrageous dignity in his anger waxing wax. And we can't tell it from an animal because they can't tell us that they're angry, but we can tell, like, you can tell that a human is angry because we show expression.
So do you all agree or disagree with Lala? Tiger, what are you saying?
But
I don't think that's really showing emotion because we can tell how animals can show aggressiveness or that male getting mad, like, they're growling or trying to attack you, bite you, something.
Lies or say it, but they have different actions that they can show that show they're angry, such as growling. And then Madison, you had some.
Also, it was design because animals have ways of showing their emotions, like
Plus, they use body language, like when he was in the crate when it started off.
There.
I agree with y'all because when like a dog is angry, it first bristles up and it starts snarling, it shows its teeth, which it describes in the text. It shows how like it's how
When was that described in the text?
it said as he drinks us together, hair bristling, mouth foaming, and a nagging and bloodshot eyes.
Okay, awesome. And so then there's this debate of like, is that a reasoning? Or is that just a natural instinct? And so there's a question of, is it fair for Jack London to portray Buck in the way that he does? Because does it misinterpret the actions of an animal? Does it make us too close to the character because we look at him as one of us versus looking at the character for what the character is, which is a dog, right? And so others have read this text before and they called him out on it. They did. They're just like, Jack, this book is not about a dog. You could easily replace, put Jordan out there. And Jordan could be out there in the woods and he might react the exact same way, right? And so they started to call him something. Do you all remember what it's called when an author portrays a nature faker? They said, Jack, you are a nature. The other animals is Jack London's response to people calling him a nature faker. Does that make sense? All right, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to stop and analyze the arguments that he is making for why he's not. Right? Like, I'm not going to let you call me fake. It's the same thing as somebody calling you fake. I'm not standing for it. So we're going to reread this article. We should have read it already, but it's been a few days. We're going to reread it, and then we're going to break into groups to figure out what are his arguments by paragraphs. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with the other animals. We should be on page number 32. I don't care who picks up as long as we pick up. Yes, please speak really, really loud. The author's subclaim. So his main claim is that he is what? Not a nature faker. So then what are his subclaims? What are the reasons why he's not a nature faker? Does that make sense? That's what you're figuring out with your group. And then you have a choice. You're just going to write 1 or 2 sentences to summarize your paragraph. You can put it on chart paper, and I'll pull your chart paper out. Or you can grab a Chromebook and do like a digital presentation, okay? We're having a problem with vocabulary. Let's see if we can define it in context. Says, when I was a small boy, I had a dog named Rollo. According to moving forward, tell me where we're having some.
I'm just saying, like, what if he does with Rollo? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, how, like, Jack London was just describing Rollo like he was like an automation. And like how he was playing with Mr. Burrow.
Okay, so I think when we left off, we needed to go back to 4 because we had some misunderstandings about what was happening in paragraph number 5. And so in paragraph number 5, it's true that Jack London is addressing Mr. Burrow, but Rollo is Jack London's dog. So Jack London is just describing an experience he had with his own dog, Rollo.
Dogs act on their own.
They can have some actions on their own. They don't perform like robots. There has to be some type of deeper thinking there, right? Because he says Mr. Burrow believes that he should be automatic. That's not what London believes. Does that make sense? A little bit? All right, I want you all to keep thinking, and then I want you all to summarize his key points in...
Prove that he's not a nature faker.
I'm here. What do you all need help with?
So we doing somebody want us dead in charge. Well, because what we have so far is Jack London wanted to disprove that he's not a nature faker, but we can't figure out what the but is.
So then your but is going to be whatever argument he presents in paragraph number 1.
That's the thing.
But others believe that...
But us believe that he He's a nature figure because about what he had wrote in his story.
Exactly. But then he explains he's not because
That's branching. That would be because it's not, to me personally. It sounds like we're branching out to paragraph 2.
Or another paragraph.
well, summarize paragraph number 1. What does he say makes him not a nature faker? What is his reasons for not being a nature faker?
That's him.
Right here? What does he say? Yeah.
These dark
read it,
heroes.
Nick.
I
got it? You have it underlined.
I have it underlined, but
That his characters, his animal characters are not thinking like deep.
So let's look at your
Because he said somebody wanted
Just say like what did he describe it wrong? Like
President Roosevelt, he was addressing President Roosevelt pointed out what he did and that he tried to defend his case by saying that there were different opinions and that he read his story to his
London was trying to say that, like, y'all have the same thought process.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is like, don't deny your instinct.
And then why do they don't deny what you like, don't deny what you have the same process as they
Before we started this, okay. When he was doing those debates, one of them was Ken Dogs feel.
Yeah, Ken Dogs feel emotions like humans. And most of the people said they can.
No, most of the people said they
We're listening to the presenters. We're going to be summarizing each paragraph based off their summaries, okay? So I want you all to go ahead and turn to page number 35 in your student workbook. And what you should see is a space for you to write your summary of each paragraph. At this point, we are simply summarizing the paragraphs. What is this paragraph mainly about? What is the subpoint that Jack London is making? We're going to go in order. We have 2 groups that summarize paragraph number 1. So I'm going to...
Jack London claims he portrays the animalistic characters as relying on primal instincts repeatedly, justifying their actions as acting or on impulse or without thought. He also claims he was randomly called out as a nature faker because he wrote the character as adapting and changing.
Okay. Awesome job. Anybody have any feedback? Anything they did well? All right, we're moving on to paragraph number 2. We only have one group that did this one. They did an awesome job. All right, make sure we are listening so we can summarize the summary.
Why did President Roosevelt condemn London? President Roosevelt didn't believe that the fight between a lynx and a wolf dog could happen in nature. What does London say in his defense? He said that Roosevelt read his...
it's just like they have different opinions.
It's a difference of opinion. It's a difference of opinion. So you're going to complete page number 36 in your student workbook packets for homework, okay? That lesson was so much fun. I really enjoyed watching the students dive into the informational text and take ownership of their learning. The conversations that were held whole group and small group were invaluable. In retrospect, I would have liked to prepare the students more with the vocabulary. As I was going from small group to small group, I noticed that it hindered some of them from being at their best. One of the questions was, who is Darwin? And so in retrospect, in the future, I will provide the students with vocabulary words so that they're not spending too much time focused on the vocabulary words, that they lose time with the content. Overall, I believe this lesson went very well. The students were able to summarize the points of the paragraphs and then also take that into their own writing, where they completed a summary for the author's purpose for writing the text. In the future, they're going to use this lesson to pull out specific details to support the main idea, as well as use it for a mentor text in their creative writing. I thank you for your time and for your insight into our ELA classroom.